What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Taking Command with Josh Taylor, where I talk all things Washington Commanders. And it's draft week. So, of course, I'm going to go through just one last 7-round mock draft. I haven't done this in a long time since a lot of changes and stuff happened since the beginning of the offseason. So, I'm going to walk through all seven rounds of picks for us, and it's not going to be too long. I'm not going to make this some hour-long video, but I'm going to go in depth on every single pick, talk best players available, talking about needs and how Washington should really draft depending on how the board falls to them. So as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and stay tuned because I'm actually going to be giving away a new draft player's jersey. So stay tuned in the video. I will tell you exactly how. All you have to do is subscribe and predict a pick that I will announce coming up. So it's not going to be pick 11 because I feel like pick 11, a lot of people will be getting it right. But I'm going to tell you which pick in this video, when I get to it, is the magic pick to be selected to enter to win a new Washington Commanders jersey of your choice. It could be the red, the white, the black, whenever that comes out, of your new draft player. So we can rep the new player that Washington adds and is the future of our franchise, hopefully to come in and make a huge contribution. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's get to it. Washington is on the clock. It is time to draft the future of our Washington Commanders and really get some guys that can come in, contribute right away. But we also have to take a look at, because we only have 6 picks in this draft. We don't have a third and we don't have a fifth, which really hurts us in a draft like this for this year. So we have to make sure that every single pick hits for us. You have to treat that 4th round pick like it's a third. That guy needs to be able to come in, hopefully get some starting reps and make a big difference on this team. So let's get right to it. As y'all know, I use Draft Network for all of my draft needs in mock drafts. So I'm going to bring over the screen so we can get going on this mock draft, the final one before the draft. So I'm going to be at the field Thursday for the draft party. So if you're going to be there, hit me up. We're going to find out who this pick at 11 is. Of course, Washington would love to trade back. Like I said, maybe recoup, get another second, maybe get a third or two. Just depends on how far back they go, where things fall. You'll see as soon as I start the draft. People actually start calling that something Draft Network does. You get offers, but I'm not going to do any trade backs in this. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Taylor FB. Maybe I'll do a quick mock draft and throw it up on Twitter, just doing like my final results. If I was a trade back with, it's usually the Saints or the Steelers. But I'm not going to do a video of it. I'm just going to do maybe just a quick picture screenshot of what that could look like. But for me, I'm going to keep pick 11 because especially if someone falls, which what's Washington's really going to have to take a look at. So like I said, Steelers offer pick. Dang, that's awful. They want us to go all the way back to round 2, not even have a first round pick. They want us to have a first round for next year, which would be great if you want to be in like the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud sweepstakes. But I'm not banking on next year. Like I'm trying to win this year. The Titans would like to move. They want us to go all the way back to 26, but we get a third this year and 2 more fourths this year, which would be bonkers. I might have to think about that if I was Washington. But like I said, I'm not going to do it. But then also the Saints with pick 16 and then pick 98 in the 3rd round this year. So this just shows you what it could look like. Like I said, I'll do a mock draft just on my phone or something, screenshot it, send it out to Twitter. But I'm not going to do a video on it. So pick 11. Let's see what the board looks like. Oh, as expected. As expected. So the guys that Washington could consider on defense at 11 are all gone. Ahmad Gardner went 3 to the Texans. I mean, his name's heating up. I think Stingley's more likely to go at 3 than Sauce Gardner is, honestly. Kyle Hamilton, I have him mocking to the Giants. I just did a whole first round mock draft. I have him going there. It's pretty much exactly what I had going on, except I had these 2 switched. But then, like I said, Derek Stingley going to Seattle. No quarterbacks. Malik Willis is still on the board. For all the Malik Willis fans out there, staying strong, but Washington's not going to select Malik Willis. I can promise you. They are very confident in Carson Wentz. And that's something Ron Rivera said in a video talking the other day. Our biggest need in the draft was Carson Wentz, getting a quarterback. Now we have to protect him. I know it's scary to hear, offensive lineman, not at 11, I promise you. But then also give him weapons. So that's what pick 11 looks like. Can they trade back? Maybe. Can they take a defensive guy if one falls? Absolutely. But right now we have three guys. The first three wide receivers in the draft. I don't think this is how it falls. I think one of these wide receivers go to Atlanta. Maybe the Jets. The Jets have been very vocal. But if I had to have my pick of these three guys, man, it's tough. I was not expecting all three to be here. I didn't think it was going to make it this hard on me. But they're all three completely different guys. Drake London, big body guy. Actually runs really good routes for his size because he's a huge freak. Used to play basketball, uses that to his advantage. Goes up and gets balls. I mean, 50-50 catches turned to 80-20 catches for Drake London. Like, he bodies guys, he breaks tackles. Garrett Wilson's the most complete wide receiver in this draft. You know, after the catch, he's phenomenal. He can go up. He's smaller. He's a smaller size, but he plays big. He can go up and get passes and just make big plays. Great catch radius. Jameson Williams, smaller frame guys, low body mass index, something my guy Nate Coleman brought up the other day. People aren't talking about that aspect of Jameson Williams. He doesn't play great against physical corners. Like, if you press him at the line, it can throw him off. But just that explosiveness, that acceleration, that home run ability that Jameson Williams brings, his name has been heating up. A lot of people are saying he's the best wide receiver in the draft. And I mean, I'm not even worried about the ACL injury. If it wasn't like for the ACL injury, like, he would go probably top 5, top 6. Someone would trade up to get him, or the Jets would have just gotten him at 4. So for me, Garrett Wilson's the safest pick. Drake London is the guy that brings a lot of versatility. Could really, mix things up for Washington offense. But Jameson Williams at pick 11 for us, just that take the top off of, like, wide receiver of a guy. We haven't had that in so long. Like, a little bit of Deshaun Jackson, I guess. That short time he was here. But we've just been missing that for so long. I think Garrett Wilson can do that too. I think Drake London can do it too, but just in completely different ways. So for me, I'm going to shock the world. I'm shocking myself. I did not think I would take Jameson Williams at 11, but here we are. And I'm fine with that. I mean, scouts and GMs have been saying the last week or two that Jameson Williams is the best wide receiver in this draft, and he is an absolute franchise-altering offensive star. Like, when I hear people talk like that, my ears, peak up like a dog. And we're going to keep getting more trade offers. But like I said, I'm not taking any. Pick 47. This is our last pick for a while because we don't have a third. So we have to hit on this one. And what's interesting is Washington has had a lot of visits and a lot of talks with running backs. Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Spiller, these top 3 guys Washington has talked to. They've had in for visits. I'm not on board with drafting a running back at 47, especially if he's not like a sure starter. Like, I feel like Breece Hall should be a sure starting running back in the league. Same with Kenneth Walker. I think you at least entertain that. Isaiah Spiller has been one of the most consistent running backs in college football at Texas A&M, just running through the SEC like it's nothing. So, like, there's great running backs here. I just don't feel comfortable taking that. Now, we've also looked at interior D linemen. Perrion Winfrey, he's already been drafted. He went to the Jets at 38. He's a guy that we've talked to about 2 or 3 times. But when I look at this board, yes, I see Quay Walker at linebacker. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to Christian Harris. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go interior DL or interior offensive line. I'm going Jalen Petrie. And if you watched my last episode where I really break down the draft blueprint for Washington, we talked to Jalen Petrie at the Senior Bowl. I talked to him personally a couple times. And the thing that stands out for me for Jalen Petrie is how confident he is in his abilities, how hard he studies the game and just tries to perfect his craft. He wants to be good at everything. He said, I study Buda Baker. I study the Honey Badger. Aranda defense at Baylor was phenomenal. So many good starters on that defense. That's one of my favorite teams to watch last year just because there's so many guys on that team that are going to be going into the league. Defense was so good that they turned one of their linebackers to a running back and turned into Abram Smith, who is actually a really good running back. But I love the way Baylor's headed, by the way. But for me, Jalen Pitre, like I said, he didn't get to play much free safety, just like strictly free safety at Baylor. So when he got to the Senior Bowl, he said, that's the one thing I want to do. I want to show these teams that I can do that. And he did a lot of reps and he looked like a natural. He's so instinctive and he's so disciplined, but he's so good at reading things and reacting and making big plays. I mean, like I said, go watch that last video I did where I highlighted Jalen Pitre as one of the big options where I pretty much guaranteed we're drafting Kyle Hamilton if he's there, Jaquan Brisker if he falls to us here, which he's already been drafted at 37. I don't think he'll make it to us at 47. I think Jalen Pitre lasting to 47 would be a stretch, but it could possibly happen if you see some quarterbacks finally go, edge guys, wide receivers, some other corners you see here coming off the board. So for me, Jalen Pitre, he can cover the slot. He can cover outside. He can fill in that money back role. I know we're sick of talking about money backer, super safety, big nickel, big dime. A lot of these, Buffalo. I know we're sick of talking about it, but it's such a pivotal role, not just for Washington, but the league's defense because it's such a passing league right now. Jalen Pitre can come in, cover tight ends, cover slot wide receivers, cover outside wide receivers. I feel confident in everything he does. I wouldn't play him at strictly like single high free safety. I think that's what Bobby McCain's going to come in and do. But I think Jalen Pitre would come in and just make huge difference in one of the worst passing defenses last year. Think about the Hail Mary with the Saints. Think about Sterling Shepard being wide open in the end zone. Luckily, he didn't, catch it. The Tyreek Hill catch with Mahomes across the body that really took us out of the game. Like there were so many game-changing moments, good and bad, by the defense. I still think defense really sets up the offense to help win the game. Now, like I said, we don't have that third round pick, so we are here in round 4. Round 4. And at 113. But before I get to 113, I picked Jalen Pitre for us at pick 47 for here in Washington. That's how I think this falls. Could they go wide receiver? If they take one, if Hamilton falls, Stingley falls at 11. Absolutely. You could see David Bell. You could see someone like Calvin Austin, possibly George Pickens might be there, Christian Watson. But so for me, pick 47 is the magic pick to be entered to win the jersey for any of our new draft players. I don't care who we draft. If we draft someone in 7th round and that's who you want the jersey of, the burgundy, the white, the black, whichever one when they come out. So if you can just comment on this video, predict who you think Washington will take at 47, or if you think we'll trade back or whatever, I want you to subscribe to the channel and just literally predict who we take at 47. And if you get it, you'll be entered to win. And if it's multiple people, then I'll do a drawing with however many people select the correct pick at 47. I think it's Jalen Pitre. So I'm kind of cheating and helping you out and saying this is how I think Washington's going to think with this pick. So maybe you can take it. Maybe you think I'm wrong and we go somewhere else. I know we got a lot of George Pickens fans out there. Maybe you think we go Pickens. But so subscribe to the channel. You don't have to like the video, but I would appreciate it. Follow on Twitter, but also comment below in this video who you think we will take at 47. And if you get it right, you'll be entered to win the new draft jersey. So 47 is a magic pick. Thanks to the Colts. That's our new pick. But at 113, you see interior D-line. Like I said, Washington's been talking to it. Matt Ioannidis is gone. Tim Settle's gone. We need some depth at the interior D-line. Really help beef it up. We had some injuries here and there on the defensive line, obviously. Jonathan Allen's been banged up a couple times. We don't know what the future looks like for Deron Payne and so on. So maybe Thomas Booker out of Stanford's a big rising name on the interior D-line for us. Maybe we look at some of these running backs that we've talked about and brought in. But for me, there's one name that jumps off that I don't think he would last this far in the draft. Um, and it's more of a just potential pick. I mean, I think he looked great in college. He transferred from Oklahoma State to Virginia. And I'm not just picking this because I live in Charlottesville, literally minutes away from the campus. But for me, I think what Jelani Woods can bring to this offense, just being such a physical weapon, but so athletic. He was the highest ranked tight end in relative athletic score in history. He scored a perfect 10. Number one of every single tight end ever recorded in every single draft since the score came out. I forgot how many years ago. It's been a while. And the guy, like, if you just watch the tapes, he bodies guys, but he's so fast for his size. He's so athletic. He can actually run routes. I mean, for his size, he can block. He can do it all. So for me, Jelani Woods, I know it looks like I'm kind of coming down the board here a little bit. You're like, well, what about, Monjai Sanders, Rashard White, Brian Robinson? I would love those picks. I'm just not comfortable taking a running back still this high. I wouldn't be mad if they took Brian Robinson in the fourth. I think he would be a great running back too. But for me, I just want to see what Jelani Woods in this offense. We don't know how Logan Thompson is going to look coming back from his injury. He says he's on track to play week 1. We don't know that. But like, what does he look like post, leg injury? But even so, like, how long is he going to be on this team for? I know we got Bates. Bates looked pretty good his first year. But then outside of that, we have nothing. Like, honestly, we have nothing at tight end. So I'm not mad at all of adding a red zone threat. He's also a pretty dang good vertical threat at the tight end spot. Saw a pretty good amount of Virginia games. And I was just impressed with this guy. But one of the highest names in the draft this offseason, one of the biggest risers. So Jelani Woods, I'm cool with that. Adding as many weapons to this offense. Jameson Williams, Jelani Woods. We got all J's right now. Josh, Jameson Williams, Jalen Petrie, Jelani Woods. You can't go wrong with the J's, right? J's never straight wrong. But I like how this would fall. And I told you, like, not having that third round pick really hurts this draft because that top 90 something to 100, range is really good value picks. So I want to treat this fourth round pick like someone that can come in, and people have him even as their tight end 1. I've seen him as high as tight end 1. A lot of people have him like tight end 2, tight end 3. You never know. Trey McBride's up there, obviously, Dulcich, but I think Jelani Woods would be a phenomenal pick if he makes it to the fourth round. I don't think he would, but I have no hesitation taking him in the fourth round. Now, of course, we don't have a fifth round pick once again, so we have to jump over here at 189 in the sixth round. Still need some corner depth. We need some interior O-line help with the guard spot. They have quarterback on here listed. Still, I'm not taking a quarterback. I'm not going to waste one of our 6 picks on a quarterback unless something bonkers happens. Crazy, like, I don't know, maybe Carson Strong in like the 4th round or something like that. I don't know. But still, I'm looking at this board here and what's falling and what our needs are, but also best players available. So yes, we need a corner, and yes, we need an interior O line. Luckily, that's outside of punter. That's the top positions here on the board for us. I'm not worried about Reed Blankenship, Ron McKinley out of Oregon. I like them both at safety, but I've already filled that spot. Darion Kendrick, big name, corner out of Georgia. Clark from LSU, interesting guy. Obviously had that very unfortunate injury. And I think he's already gone through surgery and everything. But the outside linebacker, who was one of the top like 3 linebackers in the draft, if he's there in the 6th, you take the potential in a guy like that. But then you can also still look at running backs. Sincere McCormick out of UTSA. Ty Chandler, my guy out of North Carolina. So there's a lot of potential. There's wide receivers still here. There's still some good linebackers. But for me, I'm looking at that guard spot. Thayer Munford, a big-time starter for Ohio State, been there a long time. I look at that offense, how they ran the ball, how they protected, the quarterback in such a high-powered offense. I really like his game. I think he'd be a great, developmental offensive guard. I love what Wes Schweitzer's doing. But our offensive line goes through some injuries. It happens every year, it seems like. So I do think offensive line is a need. So for me, I'm going who I think is also one of the best players available with Munford out of Ohio State. filling that guard spot. I know like Chris Paul was down here, not the guard, in the NBA. He's also a guard in college football. Cade Mays is another guard that was on the board, but I like Munford's game. I think he's just a physical guy. He's more of a zone, like an inside zone running guard. I think he would help out the run game big time, especially if I do take a running back in this later part of the draft. You never know. But we still need a corner, and I'm 100% on board with that. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Darion Kendrick is still here. Used to play at Clemson, transferred to Georgia. Isaac Taylor Stewart, former 5-star recruit, big time guy, had some injuries. Like the potential for that guy, he's been one of my like sleepers out of USC. Just a big time athlete. I think he used to run track. He did a lot of stuff. Let me see. Yeah. First team All American track team, committed to USC over Alabama. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Ran a 4.4 40-yard dash at the Rivals Challenge. Missed time in 2018 with severe ankle sprain and a knee injury in 2019, but he's been good ever since. 2021 projected role starting perimeter cornerback potential. Like, so if you can get a guy like that in the 6th round, then I mean, that's pretty dang good. And then Darion Kendrick, developmental outside corner. I remember him changing. I think he actually used to play wide receiver too. But I don't know. I've seen some holes in his game, especially in man coverage. So for me, oh man, Kalen Barnes is another Baylor guy. I'm telling you, the Baylor dudes jumped out on tape. A little undersized. He's like 5'11. Outside corner covering vertical threats. Man to man's a little weak. I don't know. These top 3 or 4 guys here, even Matt Hankins out of Iowa, I see some holes in their games. There's potential in all of them. I mean, these are 4 well-known names in college football. But you know what? I'm going to take the unpopular pick. I'm going to go. Oh man, I just don't know about that injury history with ITS because I mean it was a good bit, but it's been a while. But the potential is there. But I mean, it's a 6th round pick. Like I feel like if it doesn't hit, okay. But if he has a potential to be something like phenomenal, then cool. So you know what? I'm gonna just not talk myself out of it. Isaac Taylor Stewart, corner out of USC. I didn't take another Baylor guy, even though I was so tempted to, because I like Barnes a lot. And he just went before us, anyways. So linebacker, running back, and then edge depth is kind of what I'm looking at here. Maybe, we'll find our running back to help out here as well. But there really isn't many running backs on the top of the board here. So when I'm looking, there's a lot of depth at wide receiver. I'm not going to double down on wide receiver. I'm not going to do that, even though Arik Izukanma is a very interesting guy out of Texas Tech. Plays a lot like Traylon Burks in a way, bigger dude. A lot of fun to watch. But I am looking at some names that just I think's good value here. Michael Woods is great value. Amari Carter is good value. Ja'Tyre Carter, great value. But I mean, I like these. I like Ellis Brooks, linebacker, and also like Abram Smith, running back. Chance Campbell, he's a guy that we've talked to this offseason. So I see some names here, and I feel like once you get down the board like this, there's no such thing as overdrafting. Like if you just scroll down and like, oh, I don't know, I feel like I'm going too far down on these guys. I promise you're not. If you think one of these guys has a better chance of hitting than some of these other guys, because look, we're at pick 239. This is our last pick. These other guys, you just got to hope you could sign them. I mean, like right now is your only chance, your last chance to just lock a guy in. So maybe you see a running back that really draws your eye, like Abram Smith, Jashawn Corbin, Jerrion Ealy, Devontae Price, Zonovan Knight. I like Jerrion Ealy. Man, that might be where I go, honestly, which is tough. But like I said, it's just all about fit and how you think the guy is going to play on your team. Same with linebacker, Chance Campbell out of Ole Miss. Interior linebacker 4-3 defense, but gets advice at 3-4. You know, in the run game, he's aggressive and physical in the box, plays with good IQ and instincts, which always plays from around the football, is athletic enough to get in gaps and affect the run plays. In the passing game, he has limited upside. Like for me, that's just a giant red flag. So like I'm you don't need to talk me out of this one much. We need coverage at linebackers. We've got plenty of guys that can just stop the run. So this is where it's really tricky, man. Um, Also interior DL. There's a guy I've watched fall a lot. I don't know where he went to. Um, but it was the interior D line. I've been watching Neil Farrell out of LSU. Not sure where he went, but he's a guy that I've always been getting late. But I can tell like the draft board's finally settling in. So, all right, I'm not gonna overthink it anymore. I'm gonna take a running back that I just feel like really fits what we want to do. And for me, I'm gonna go Deshaun Corbin. I like his game, pass protection. I think he'd be a great running back to complement to Antonio Gibson. Also can catch some passes. He made some big plays at Florida State. I like Corbin's game. He can come in like having him in doesn't just say, oh, like it's a pass because he's a good blocking guy. Like he's a good, change of pace, second running back option. So I like it. Another weapon on offense. So let's take a look. Pick 11, Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. Pick 47, Jalen Petrie, my defensive Swiss Army knife out of Baylor. He's honestly like my guy of this draft. There's no way I'm doing a mock draft for Washington not getting Jalen Petrie. Um, Jelani Woods, tight end out of Virginia, and then also adding that guard depth with Thayer Munford out of Ohio State. And then I'm banking on the potential of an Isaac Taylor Stewart, corner out of USC, who is just a freak athlete with but just phenomenal upside. 5-star recruit guy, just has to stay healthy. And like I said, if a 6th-round pick doesn't hit, like it is okay. But if a 6th-round pick turns into like a starting outside corner, like how Cam Curl is in the, if that's strong safety role as a 7th-round pick, then I'm happy. But if he doesn't pan out, oh well, 6th-round pick will suffice. But then rounding out, I know you can always just draft an undrafted, or you can sign an undrafted running back after the draft. But I mean, Washington doesn't always sign a lot of guys after the draft either. It's usually like 3, 4 guys, maybe 5. But I just like getting the guy that fits what you want to do with Jashawn Corbin, running back out of Florida State. Like I said, change of pace, running back too, pass protection, and catch some balls. I like his game. So that's how the board fell for me. I want to know what y'all think, but I think this is a good draft. You want to add some guys on this offense who can help score some points because Lord knows we did not score many points last year or a few years now. But then also adding these guys like Jalen Petrie and then a potential corner with Isaac Taylor Stewart who can make a difference in the defense. But I want to know what y'all think. So comment below what you think of these picks. Let me see your mock drafts on Twitter. You can always attach it. I'm going to tweet this video out as I always do. And don't forget to comment who you think will be pick 47 for the Washington Commanders to be entered in a chance to win that draft jersey, which looks good. I mean, the new jerseys look good. It doesn't matter which one you like, the burgundy, the white, or the black, which should be coming out soon. Like I'll wait and get it for you if I have to, if it's not, if that's the one that you want. So, like I said, comment, share the video, like it, subscribe. We got a lot of good things coming on. Like I said, Thursday, I will be at FedEx Field with my boy Rio. Shout out to Rio Robinson. Check out his YouTube show. I'm sure you do already with Rambling with Rio. But we're gonna be on the field, and we've got a lot of big time guys who are gonna be walking around, like Logan Thomas, Jonathan Allen, Kendall Fuller, Doug Williams are going to be there with us. So hopefully you get some good stuff. We're going to be set up our shows. We're going to be recording for y'all. I'm going to try to bring as much equipment as I can fit and get through into the stadium. So stay tuned. Got a lot of big things cooking up here on Taking Command with Josh Taylor because we're Washington and we are taking command. See y'all later.